the moon is getting warmed by the sun, right? And the moon is like a rock, or like iron. So technically, we're on a grill.
It's like an iron. What are you talking about?
You know the crafting material in Minecraft, iron, right? If you make, it gets warmer. By, you know, the rock is warming us because we're like on a grill. So we're basically a salad with like water and stuff.
What the fuck?
So
what
we're
are you
salad with
talking?
water. Rocky, you're one of the most something person I've ever met.
It's actually a conspiracy theory I'm working on.
Yeah, you should probably stop working on it, I can tell you. It's not something we should have.
I have thought about it for like at least 5 hours now.
Hey guys, Rocket Sledge here, back with another episode of videos Floomp wishes he thought of first. Today we're talking Rocket League conspiracies. Now I'd like to stay away from going full Renoki here, and instead focus on 3 theories or beliefs that have actually found a decent sized following in the Rocket League community. Perhaps even covering something you've wondered about yourself. Now I'm not necessarily going to be able to fully debunk each one of these, but I am going to be giving my own opinions on them, as well as the results of my own tests and research into these topics. The first one I want to talk about is the belief that you can pick your spawn location after you've been demoed. Now, the conspiracy here would be that Psyonix either has been hiding this feature from us, or perhaps implemented it and then just forgot about it. Either way, I've seen it brought up before on Reddit, but it really didn't gain any traction until there was a tweet on May 16, 2019 by a player named Teda. In his tweet, it shows him using the D-pad on his controller to pick which side he wanted to spawn on. Now this created quite a reaction, with him getting almost 30,000 views, and many people responding that they've always known how to do this. Others said it didn't work, and many were just confused and wondering if they were even doing it right. A few weeks later, Musty released his video on the topic, and there's a few issues I have with this. First of all, you're gonna do a video about demos, and you bring Floomp?
I just tried to go supersonic and failed. Alright, here we go.
Yeah, I got awesome Sledge demo tutorials.
Now, Floomp at this point probably has 1 career demo. How do I know that? I was there when he got it. See, right here. Okay, he might have more demos than this. I'll admit this was just an excuse to show you this cool goal I scored playing with Floomp. Alright, back to the video. So Musty has Floomp demo him a bunch of times, and for a while it seems like it's working. Now, in Rocket League there's actually 4 main spawn locations, but picking the right side randomly would just be a 50-50 chance. Now it's true that picking the correct side multiple times in a row has a lower probability, and as the video goes on it is very convincing. This brings me to my second issue. It takes over 10 minutes for Musty to do any major testing and show actual data. At that point, he proves it doesn't work. Now, I salute his efforts to do a full test, but how many people clicked off this video before 10 minutes thinking that this worked? Most likely, thousands. Fast forward a few months later, August 7th, 2019, Floomp decides to include demo spawn selection in his 10 more crazy Rocket League glitches video. Now, heading into the comment section of this video, it was no surprise to see multiple people still claiming that it worked for them. I actually recognize one of these guys as someone I've talked to in a Discord before, and because I want to do my own test for this video and settle the disputes once and for all, I thought it was best to use someone who actually claims to be able to do it, so none of you could say, hey, you weren't doing it right, Sledge. So I bring this Fast 14 into a match and tell him to select his right side as his spawn location. After 24 demos, I tell him to switch and instead try and spawn on his left. Admittedly, this was a small sample size, but I think the results are pretty clear. Being able to select your spawn is not real or repeatable in the long term. One final note, on May 28th, 2019, just 5 days after Musty's video, and over 2 months before Floomp's, Teda himself revealed that the demo spawn tweet was a hoax all along. So, for this conspiracy theory, I'm going to call it debunked. This is an interesting one because I heard of this idea years ago, but never really gave it much thought or research until I started working on this video. This is a website made by a player named Jawbreaker. It allegedly tells you the best time to open a crate. Now if we scroll down, Jawbreaker explains his theory and how he would continuously get good luck in crates and trade-ups if he opened them during a specific 2-minute window. Now, according to the Rocket League website, crate drops are based on a fairly simple RNG and probability system. You have a 50% chance to get a rare and a 1% chance to get a black market. Now, when you use a key, it first rolls to determine rarity, next to determine which item in that rarity group, and finally separate rolls for painted, certified, and special edition. Now, I'm no programmer, but it seems to me there would be no reason to have time of day factored into any of this programming. But in the spirit of this video, I decided to put this crate theory to the test and open a few of my own. The very first crate I opened was Titanium White Exotics. Not a bad start. As I finished my first 10, I got another exotic, this time special edition. As I waited for the next crate opening period, my mind wandered, thinking how I could be the most insane crate opening channel ever. But those dreams were quickly shattered. The next 10 were not as exciting, and I finished my 20 crates having 2 exotics, 2 imports, 6 very rares, and 10 rares, which, if you convert to percentages, ends up actually being very similar to Psionic's posted odds, with the one outlier being those exotics. In the end, once again, 20 crates is not much of a test, and Jawbreaker has many videos showing him opening crates and getting great items, with the last one being about 6 months ago. Personally, I think anyone that opens a bunch of crates is obviously going to get a bunch of good items. I mean, look at Picapixel's videos for example, though there might be another conspiracy there because I've heard that he actually used to work for Psionic's. But I digress. In the end, this was a fun one to look at, and I'm going to leave this section as an unbeliever, but I'm not going to go so far as to say it's completely debunked. Now, as with most games, there's tons of complaints to be found about the Rocket League ranking system, but this section is not about ranked being broken. So if you're confused about how MMR gains and losses work, I do encourage you to check out another video I made on that topic by clicking the right-hand corner of the screen. When it comes to ranked conspiracies, people are usually proposing theories of how the system is against them, not because it's broken, but because it's how Psionics intended it to work. Now, you don't have to look too long on Reddit to find these people. Now, most times it's just suggestions based on their own experience, but some people do put a lot of thought into it, even going so far as to suggest that there's 2 tiers of ranks behind the scenes. To look further into these conspiracies, I decided to go somewhere else. Somewhere I don't recommend to anyone. That's right, Steam forums. Now, what kind of people post on Steam forums, you ask? Well, I don't want to judge everyone, but let's just say I was not surprised to find Mr. 99% Luck residing there. So, in the Steam forums, I stumbled upon your typical rank complaint thread, but the responses to this one took rank conspiracy to a whole new level. Now, in response to this original complaint, Drake presents his case claiming that trash players are purposely spread throughout the game by Psionics. Now, these are given to you as teammates when you're on too long of a win streak, and apparently longer queue times is a sign of the system trying to set you up for these matches. Drake goes on to say that win and loss streaks should be impossible with a legit matchmaking system. But fortunately, there's some reasonable people in this place too, as this user points out the technical hurdles of a system like this. How does the game figure out good and bad players in that way? He also includes a nice shot at Psionics by pointing out that these guys can't even make the game register stats correctly, never mind predicting player ability. Now this is where it really gets interesting, as Drake comes back with a response that the original poster ended up selecting as the best answer. He points to the fact that a rigged matchmaking system is in the best interest of a company like Psionics. The idea is to keep you playing and hopefully paying. Then he mentions 2 acronyms, DDA and EOMM. So this is when the research really started. DDA is Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment. It's not a new idea, but Drake was referring to a paper released in 2017 that talked about using DDA to maximum player engagement. Now, the first red flag when you look at this paper is the company that these guys work for. Yikes. DDA is something that's been around for a long time, and it's used a lot in single player games. If you're dying too much, a game may give you special perks or extra save points to help you through and prevent you from getting frustrated. This is actually a good thing as it allows players of all skills to enjoy a game. The issue here is that if it was applied to an online multiplayer game, your wins and losses would no longer just be based on your skill. To reward a player that had the potential to quit soon, you may be the one to get sacrificed and given an unwinnable match by the system. That's where EOMM comes into play, or Engagement Optimized Matchmaking. Once again, another EA sourced paper from 2017. As we can see in the first paragraph, they theorize that a fair matchmaking system is not optimal for engagement, meaning they think you will play longer if you're challenged, punished, and rewarded at certain specific times. So we've crossed the line from crazy conspiracy to scary proof of a gaming company proposing blatant matchmaking interference. So how does this all apply to the claims made about the Rocket League ranking system? It's my personal opinion that this is not happening, or even possible in Rocket League right now. First of all, these papers are from 2017, and even at that time, they were just theories based on simulations, not even put into practice yet. Next, these are both EA patents, meaning Psyonix wouldn't be able to use them. And finally, as that one guy pointed out in the Steam forum, I think it would be almost impossible for the game to find and mark these special bad players, spreading them throughout the ranks to be used to halt win streaks or give easy wins. So at this time, I'm calling this conspiracy not possible. But also, it's hard to debunk, especially with the evidence that shows gaming companies are thinking of this. I hope you enjoyed this brief look into a few Rocket League conspiracies. Do you know of any other weird things that people believe in Rocket League? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I do recommend some of my other content, including my Rocket Surgery Experimental series, where I recently answered the question, can you be your own teammate? My name is Rocket Sledge. Thanks for watching.